Hey, this is Professor Triplet, and we're going to wrap up this rear handle in this tutorial. So we're going to just go ahead and add some edge loops in and mirror this, and then lay out the UVs, and then also bend this back piece here. So before we start, let's go ahead and just delete the history, start fresh, and we'll get going here. So, okay, so I want to use my edge loop tool instead of using my cut tool for this one. So I'm going to double click on it in the shelf and it'll bring up the options. And I want to make sure that normally it doesn't have equal distance from edge checked, but you want to make sure this is checked. What's going to happen here with some of these curves, the way these are, is that the edges are going to actually get super close. So when we're adding in these edge loops, it's not going to work right. So the way to do that is just put an equal distance, and then when you start close to the edge that you want to follow, it'll actually put that in equally all the way up through. You can see that right there. We're going to fix that. Actually, that's not exactly how we want that, but we got a few other things to do down here. So let's add that one in. Let's add one in there, and then we got the same thing over here. We're going to add one there. Okay, so that gets us going, and you can see on both sides we have this edge that's coming up to here and going through. We don't want that, so we go ahead and just control backspace, get rid of that. Do the same thing over here. Let's see, it's that one, yes, and then control backspace, get rid of that one, and then we're going to just activate this tool one more time, edge loop, and I'm going to drop that right there and do the same thing here. Okay, now let's take a look at what else we have going on here. Let's make sure everything's looking good. I know there's one area it's going to need two edge loops, which is here, one there. Okay, and I think we're ready to go. We're good. So one thing we have to do is we have to connect these two. So we'll go to our verts, and we can go to our modeling toolkit and just hit connect, hit enter, and then of course we have a triangle there. So let's get rid of that triangle by collapsing it. So just collapse, and then we'll go over to this side. We're going to do the same process. So and connect. Oops, there we go. Enter and edge, and then we'll collapse that as well. Okay, so now that's a good fence, and we don't have any triangles going through it. So if we deselect this, even without smoothing this, this should look almost just how we want it. Because now what we've done is we're controlling the shading using those edges that we laid in. So we're controlling the way that the Maya is shading these corners, these 90-degree turns. Okay, but if we do want to hit F3 on our keyboard, or I'm sorry, 3. I have mine set up as F3 if you hadn't figured that out. If we want to hit 3 on your keyboard, you can see this whole thing looks pretty good. Nice beveled edges. Alright, so let's go back to 1, and now we will go and start we'll start mirroring this thing. So let's just save this at this stage. So save scene, and we'll close that. And I'm going to go to my back view, and then so one thing about mirroring is you obviously want to have this pivot in the center so that it mirrors properly over to the other side. So but it's also, we're going to mirror in the X and the Y. So it makes sense to actually take this pivot, and we'll hit D on our keyboard, hold V, and I'm going to snap it all the way down here. I'm going to have to go to my perspective view actually, and that's right. So that's what we want. And then I'm going to go back to my back view, and then while I still have the pivot activated to be changed, I'm going to go ahead and just snap it right here to the middle by holding V again. So I snapped it right in the center of the 4 sides. So you'll see how this works why I did that in a second. So now let's go ahead and just delete that history one more time. I'm going to name this G underscore handle rear. Okay, and let's go ahead and mirror it. So we have our mirror here. Oh boy, we don't see anything. Well, let's make it negative. There we go. That's what we're looking for. And then, let's see, border, what does it say? Do not merge. Let's say merge border. And hopefully that doesn't cause any problems. And then we'll do the same thing now. I'm just going to hit G to repeat the tool. But this time we want to go on Y and negative Y. Okay, and again, let's do merge border vertices. And let's go ahead and go back to our perspective mode. Make sure we don't have any issues with those border vertices we merged. Like, I don't want anything to collapse because of a threshold. Let's see inside here. Yeah, we look pretty good. So we'll go ahead and hit 3 on the keyboard and just take a look at how this thing is working out. I think that's working. Now I do think that this centerpiece right here, it needs to be played with a little bit. So let's go ahead and do that. I could have done this when I was in the middle of doing the mirroring. It probably would have been a little bit easier, but it's okay. We can do it this way too. So this is front back. All right, so you can see, yeah, definitely we're like, it mirrored it just a little bit far. And so what I want to do is go like this, go to my verts, select every vert underneath here, and I'm actually going to go back to my normal mode here and move this up just a bit. So, like so. And then with this edge here, I can just select both sides and I can slide that up like so. So it looks like the top and the bottom might actually be a little bit different, as you can tell from this, or it could be the picture is a little bit off. I'm not sure which one. So honestly, I'm not too worried about it. But if I was in a situation where this had to be completely precise, I could go ahead and just find the areas where I can move this up and move it up. But I think that, you know, what's going to happen is I'm going to have to adjust all of a whole bunch of stuff if I start doing that. So I might just make an executive decision to go back a few steps. So to where we were mirroring. And this is why maybe it's a good idea to have your references out when you're mirroring. There we go. So let's go to object mode and let's see where we're at here. So it looks right. Let's see here. Yeah, it looks good so far. And this is all it's pretty close. It's not perfect. But from here, we do the mirror and we'll go with the Y negative. And then from here, I can start moving this up a little bit. Now, we may look at this and say, well, it's all pinched, it's not good, but I think I'm going to be okay. So let's see what I'm going to do in a second. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and accept that, get out of that tool, and I'm going to go to let's go to my verts. Grab all those verts. And I can actually see in my bottom corner how far I'm moving this. So I'm going to try to move it like, let's say 0.5. And I'm going to do the same thing up here. So the area I'm talking about is right down here. It shows you how far you're moving stuff. So I'm moving that, and it's actually giving me a different number readout. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball this. Like so. Now, there's going to be some other adjustments here. So I have to look at this, and this is that area where you're going to want to do something like this. Grab this and just deselect the ones that are connected to the fence. And then we're going to go like this. We're going to go edge slide, or slide edge, I should say. And oh, goodness gracious, Maya's doing it opposite, so let's just do one side. Like so, we'll balance this out. Like so. And then we'll do the same thing here. I'll just deselect there. I'm pretty sure I got this right. Yeah, looks good. We'll balance that out. That's fine. And then come into here. Slide that a little bit like so. And actually, now that I think about it, I mean, it might make more sense just to adjust one side and then do the same process over again. So that means go ahead and delete off half. So let's go ahead and just go delete this half off. There we go. And then that. Oops, no, I didn't select it. There we go. All right, now we'll do the mirroring again, but let's make sure our pivot is where it should be. So go V. Oh boy. Okay, sometimes Maya gets into this weird thing where it locks into the wrong tool or something. Not sure why it does that. Let's try this again. There we go. Okay. That should be in the right spot then. So let's go ahead and mirror. So sometimes these things happen, you know, you gotta roll with it. You don't always know what's gonna happen. So there's one mirror, and we can say merge border versi. Let's make the merge threshold like 001. All right, and let's do that one more time. Mirror, this time in the X or in the Y, and we'll say merge vertibority, and it's keeping our settings. We need negative Y. Okay. So let's look at this now. All right, everything looks like it's smoothed out pretty well. I'm looking over here to make sure that these are nice and averaged. Let's hit 3 on the keyboard, see how that looks. I think that looks pretty good. Yeah, I can live with that. I can live with that. I think that these could be pulled in a little bit better, but you know, I think it's splitting hairs at some point. So there we go. That's a good start. I think we're almost there. So all right, so let's get the UVs laid out. I'm going to save this because I think it's in a good spot. And so for our UVs, I'm going to use the same kind of method I've done before where I just break some edges. So let's grab this edge right here and let's go back into our poly mode. So it should be edge looping around pretty well. It is. It goes all the way around the mesh. So yeah, that works pretty well. And you can see though, there's kind of a strange transition because here it breaks in the middle, but on here it's like breaking on the outside. But that's because we have this edge that transitions. So let's make sure this works right. So we'll just now for some reason I just selected that edge that should have looped around and it did not. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. This one does not loop all the way around. But I'm afraid there's maybe some verts that didn't weld properly in the middle here. So I will check those out. Alright, so I grabbed all these edges and I'm going to go ahead and make a selection set with this. So let's go create, sets, quick selection set. And I'm going to say this rare handle, I don't know, I'm spelling it wrong, handle edges. There we go. And then next what I'm going to do is select all these faces. Let's get into the UVs here, and I'm just going to put a single planar UV on this. W, and then I want to go back to my edges. So select, quick select set. There we go. And then I'm just going to break all of these. So I'm going to go ahead and just hit cut right here. So that should cut all those. Now, if done correctly, should be able to select one UV, then I'll hold control, right click and drag to UV shell. Yes, and it just selected the one side. All right, that's what I was looking for. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that off over here. Go to these faces, and let's see what happens if we do an unfold. This is a pretty complex thing to unfold at this point, but look at that. It actually worked pretty good. I am impressed. All right, so let's do this one. Unfold. And it did it right on top of that one. I don't know why. All right. So look at that. Not too bad. That was actually pretty painless, to say the least. So nice. That is all I'm going to do with those for now. Just pull these over here. I will check them though. Let's go ahead and look at them really quick. Make sure we don't have any crazy distortions. Nope, looks good. Awesome. NVIDIA's updating drivers. All right. Let's see here. We're going to get this guy back out, and we're going to finish this up. This is actually the easy part. Oh, you know what I want to do though? I have to make sure I have enough edges in here. So I'm going to go ahead and just drop an edge here right in the center. That should work. And then one right in here, right in the center. The reason why is because we're going to bend this now, and I need these to just bend nicely and be even. So, and it's also going to help hold. This corner here better. You know, just kind of smooth it out a little bit. And let's go ahead and I'm going to actually see if averaging these vertices here helps a little bit to just make a better rounded transition. So let's see if we can get that. And I'm assuming I'm grabbing the front and the back. So let's just double check it. Okay, average verts. Yeah, that's what I wanted. And I'm just going to hit G a few times. Get it to pull out. Maybe I should even do these too. I just want a nice balanced curvature going around the object. So, assuming I have both sides. Yes. Okay, so average verts. And then turn up the iterations and just hit G a few times. And there we go. I think that'll work good. All right, let's delete that history and save this really quick so we don't lose our work. And now we will go into here and we'll do this with the verts. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab the bottom here and grab the bottom here as well. And let's just grow the selection. Should be about like that, maybe one less. So let's go like that. Okay, so last part. We're going to bend this, and then we'll be good. So let's just throw a bend on there. So we want deform and bend, not bend shape, nonlinear, bend. And then we just want to make sure that we have this facing the right direction. So I'm going to start bending it actually. Sometimes I do this to make it easier on me. And then let's see, that's got to rotate in the, looks like the Z direction needs to go 90, like so. And then I believe the X needs to go 90 as well. And so we want negative 90. Okay, there we go. Now it's not bent enough. So the last part is just to bend the full amount. And there you have it. We are sitting pretty. Okay, that's it for this one. And just if we want to test it out, let's hit 3. Looks pretty nice. Looks like there's a little bit of weird tension there, but we can do some average vertices and fix these little areas over here that are looking just a little bit funny. But I think overall that's going to work out pretty nice. Okay, great. Thanks for watching.